The Newcomer's Guide to Linux. Chapter 1. Contents include: what is Linux? What types of software are available? What is open source software? Benefits of open source software. What is an operating system? And who are the users of Linux? What is Linux? Linux is an operating system. It is free, open source software. This operating system was developed to establish Unix-compatible software that can be freely used worldwide without violating any commercial software copyrights. What types of software are available? Currently available software falls into three categories: commercial software, shareware, and freeware. Commercial software is sold to businesses and consumers. It generally is provided with technical support. Purchasers, also known as subscribers, may not illegally copy, distribute, or revise the software. Shareware is software which is often created by independent developers and which may be downloaded at no cost. It is generally expected that users will pay for the software after a trial period of use. After the software is paid for, the user will be eligible for upgrades and technical support. Freeware is software which is distributed at no cost. What is open source software? Open source software is a type of freeware which includes its source code. Any user has the right to use, copy, spread, and revise the software, and simultaneously has the obligation to release the source codes which he has revised. How can you benefit from open source software? By using open source software, you will save money. You will also benefit from the larger user community which it attracts, who will debug the program and constantly upgrade it. What is an operating system? An operating system, abbreviated as OS, is the system software on a computer. This software is necessary for the use of the computer. An OS is a complicated set of programs which supplies the protocols and working rules necessary for operation of a computer. The functions of an operating system include processor management, storage management, file management, device management, and operating management. When there is more than one program running at the same time, the operating system will optimize each program's processing time. By using an operating system, users are able to avoid operating directly with the hardware of the machines. Most operating systems are commercial products developed by large software companies. Users must pay for the use of the operating system. This cost is often built into the price of the computer. When a consumer buys an operating system, he or she must accept all the terms announced by the OS provider. The consumer is licensed to use the OS but cannot modify or test the code of the OS. What are the parts of an operating system? An operating system can be divided into two parts: the kernel and the shell. The kernel is contained in the shell program. The user communicates with the shell, and the kernel communicates directly with the hardware to run the applications: user, shell, kernel, hardware, applications, shown here on screen. In some operating systems, such as Unix and Linux, the shell and kernel are completely separate. This makes it possible for you to use different shells with the same kernel. It also makes it possible to make changes to either part without affecting the other. In other operating systems, such as Microsoft Windows, the two parts are tightly interrelated, and the difference between the parts depends on the operations performed. Who are the users of Linux? Linux is primarily used on computers which have an Intel x86 serial CPU. The OS was developed and implemented by programmers all over the world with the aim of establishing Unix-compatible software that can be freely used worldwide without violating any commercial software copyrights. Linux is no longer just used by computer hobbyists. It has undergone significant development in the field of servers in recent years and works very efficiently in that area. Many people are now choosing Linux for their desktop computers. Linux can also be used on other machines besides PCs. The community of users and the number of programs available which use the Linux OS is steadily growing. Significant users of Linux. Linux has been adopted by many first-class enterprise and organization users, including NASA, Disney, Lockheed, General Electric, Boeing, Ernst & Young, UPS, IRS, NASDAQ, and many universities. Large corporations such as IBM, Compaq, HP, Dell, Oracle, SGI, AMD, and Transmeta are contributing to the development of Linux and are aiding Linux's recent continuous progress and growth. One of the most famous and effective applications of Linux was the processing of the special effects in the film Titanic. In this project, a large number of servers were required to complete this huge task. The animation company Digital Domain, which worked on the film, purchased 105 alpha servers from Compaq and Digital and installed the Linux system. The amount of money saved cannot be accurately calculated, but Digital Domain announced on their website that the reason they chose Linux was primarily for financial reasons. Considering the successful performance of Linux in the project, the cost saving would seem to have been considerable. Motorola, in association with NTT Docomo, a giant Japanese firm, Panasonic, Samsung, and Vodafone, is planning to spread open-source software for use in the field of mobile communication. This strong and powerful alliance not only poses a threat to Nokia, which uses the Symbian OS, but also places great pressure on Symbian and Microsoft. Linux OS is becoming more and more frequently used on intelligent cell phones. Subsidiary companies of Volkswagen are currently changing the operating system used by their manufacturing system into Linux. This project is expected to be done by the end of 2007, by which time most of their servers and workstations will be running 64-bit Linux. Common digital products such as MP3 and MP4 players, digital cameras, and SD/MMC card readers usually support Linux or adopt it as their own OS. For example, the iPod has successfully transplanted the revised uClinux kernel and programs in the Podzilla simplified user interface. Other programs and modules are in development which will enhance the functions of the Apple firmware for iPod. Linux users can even install Linux on their iPods and play Doom on the iPod. With its openness and flexibility, Linux is at the leading edge of the creative technical revolution among labs and other scientific research organizations. The hobbyists who began using Linux have opened a door to the entire computer industry. The next chapters of this tutorial will guide you into the world of Linux.